Happy Vlogmas day 21. I cannot believe it's the 21st. Jesus. So today was just a lot of editing. I've caught up. You guys will have now seen the last 4 videos for 7 and 18 were combined because that was like a busy weekend. And then 18 is short as well, but it's really cool. It's the snow party at our friend Jim and Sarah's. And then you will have seen 19 and 20. And they're all out now, so that's great. So now I'm back on my schedule. I just thought I would do a little Q&A with you guys today. So that's what we're gonna do this evening. Emily in Paris is out now. I really want to watch that, but I don't think my husband's gonna go for that. So that's probably have to watch that one by myself. But that's okay. We'll probably watch his Dark Materials or something like that because I'm obsessed with that show. If you haven't seen his Dark Materials, I love it because the concept is their souls live outside of their bodies and they're called demons, but they're not like demonic. They're just, their soul's like a little friend and their thoughts, they can understand each other, think and they talk. And like, I just in my mind pretend like, I was like, I totally know that my soul would be a cat. It would be a big cat because that's like my obsession. And I love my cats more than anything in life. But yeah, I definitely think I would have like a Black Panther would be my soul. And I think Sam would be like a big tiger or like a lion. His cat would definitely be bigger than mine because he's got like such a big presence. But I totally think I would have a Black Panther. Or maybe an ocelot or something. It would be a cat. It would definitely be like a bigger cat. But yeah, so anyway, that's my rant on his Dark Materials, which I'm obsessed with. But I have a little Q&A, so I've got my questions here. So I'll just go ahead and start. My first question is what my favorite drink is. And probably unsweet iced tea for like a non-alcoholic beverage. I also really love champagne. Every now and then I'll have a Negroni for a cocktail or gin and tonic, but I'm particular because I want it to be with like one of those good like tonic waters, like not just right off the gun. Like what's the point in the calories in that? I want like the Fever Tree tonic waters, tonic with like a piece of rosemary in there or something like that. But yeah, champagne, red wine, Sauvignon Blanc. Actually, probably I gotta correct that. I used to kind of like, everyone knew me as the girl who loved Sauvignon Blanc, and now I'm more of a Chenin Blanc, White Bordeaux kind of girl. It's funny, like your palate changes. I still love a great Sancerre, but like, yeah, I guess it all kind of ebbs and flows. And then my favorite coffee, almond milk latte, which I think I make the best almond milk lattes ever. Getting an almond milk latte out now for me is just, you know, I'm always like, it's good, but it's not as good as I make it. And the only place that can make it as good as me, if not better, is Cafe Brazil. I think Cafe Brazil is the only place that gets it right because it's an almond milk. It's a milk to coffee ratio that I do. And a lot of places, they just get it wrong except Cafe Brazil. So shout out Cafe Brazil. Love that place. Let's see. What is my favorite season? Fall, for sure, fall. I like being able to layer, but this past fall, it was really warm. I like when things are cool, but like you're not gonna be completely freezing. And I like it because of the clothes. It's also a time period, like in summer, I'm not usually as into going out in summer. There's something about summertime for me that I usually kind of just, there's so much day stuff to do that going out at night isn't as appealing. But in the fall, that's the time I really like to go dancing and go out and like have fun. And I think again, it sims too that I like the fall fashion. Those outfits are more fun and comfortable because in Texas, it's so hot and humid. It's like, ugh, being in like a dance club or something, or like in a crowded bar when it's hot, it's just nasty. But when it's in the fall, then that's like cozy, right? This is a good one. Would you like to be famous? So when I was younger, I would have said absolutely. Like I wanted to be an actor, a model. But I don't think I'd ever really want to be famous. Like I would like to be known would be cool. Like, you know, like if you were like that kind of famous, like you were in a show or had a couple bit parts in movies where like you'd be out, people would be like, oh, they're familiar, but like they wouldn't know, like you wouldn't be like Taylor Swift. I think that level of fame has got to be crazy because like just you can't go anywhere anymore. Like you can't just run out and like pop over to a store, like you have to have security detail and it's a whole thing. And if you look like crap, you get pictures taken of you. And like, I think that's gotta be really hard. So I would never want to be like famous like that. But I think it could be cool to have like a little bit of fame, like just a little bit, like be kind of known would be cool. Do you like your life or would you change it? I definitely love my life. I definitely manifested this. I feel like for me, like falling in love and finding the person like that I was supposed to be with, my soulmate, was something that I've always just wanted so desperately bad. And at one point in my life, I thought, look, this just isn't gonna happen. And I have to be okay being by myself and just being me. And it's almost like when I got to that place of being self-realized in that, it's like the universe, God, however you want to say it, was like, okay, send him in. And that's when I met Sam. And granted, we were just friends at first, which I think was the right way for all of this to happen. And yeah, and I mean, but everything that happened, even the negative things in my life, led me to great things. And my friends that I have, I've got some of the best friends I could ever wish for. I was someone, I don't know, I feel like a lot of my life I never quite fit in. I was a little bit lost. And as an adult in my 30s is when I really kind of had this awakening and found myself and found like my friends that I just are family to me. And it's every other times in my life, like things just didn't click for me. And it was really hard because I would see kids like when I was in high school and college, they found themselves, they figured it out. And it took me a lot longer to find those things for myself and finding my life partner and finding what I want to do and, creating and just being in that kind of element. It took me a lot longer. But yeah, it's funny, I have this like core memory of being at this bar called Royal Oak, and they would do a Sunday fun day. It was like a brunch party thing, and they had a DJ, and it was like a whole thing. And this was like 2011, and I was there with a guy I was dating. And I remember it was just me and him sitting there, and I was kind of surveying the group, and there were all these groups of friends having this great time and catching up. And even though I was there with a guy I liked, right, and that was nice, I didn't have friends. And I just, I'd moved back to town from college, and I just didn't really know a lot of people, and it's really hard as an adult to make connections. And the people that I went to school with and whatnot, they all kind of scattered off to other places. A lot of them at my university, a lot of them got married right out of school and were getting engaged, and they were just different life paths than that which I was on. So, I really wanted friends. And then it's kind of funny having that aha moment of like in my life, sometimes I have these moments where I'm out with my friends, we're having a great time, and I kind of zoom out and I'm like, whoa, this is what you wanted, and like you've got it now, like you've got these amazing friends who are not only just great, amazing humans, but like they get you and they understand you, and like you guys connect in this way that's just really special and amazing to have people that have your back no matter what and will be there for you for the rest of your life. So yeah, I definitely like my life, and finding a partner that you're madly in love with and all of that. That's not to say my life is perfect. It's definitely not, but overall, I do really love my life and cherish it. Gosh, how many pairs of shoes do I have? I can't even answer that. I don't know. My husband at one time counted, and it was a ton. Yeah, I'm not even too many, I know, too many, but never enough, right? Oh, what celebrity do I look up to the most? Oh gosh, I don't know, look up to the most, but I really love Kendall Jenner. I think she's so beautiful and poised, and I like that she speaks out about her anxiety and mental health issues. I think she gets such a bad rap. People say like, you'll see these like blind items that when meeting fans, she comes across as if she doesn't care, or she comes across like rude. And I don't think people understand anxiety, that like when you're, and I can't imagine being famous like that and having people clamoring for you. Like I would freak out. Like I know personally at my wedding, I felt like people were like rushing up to me, but then when I saw the footage, I was like, that's not really what was happening. But in my mind, what I was experiencing, the reality I experienced was so different than from what was actually happening. For me, it felt like everybody was coming up to me, and it was really overwhelming. But in reality, it wasn't really that like that. There were people coming, but it wasn't like as crazy as I imagined it. So I can't imagine to actually be like someone that people would rush up to and go through that. So I think that people don't understand anxiety and how it comes across, and that like sometimes I think this question is going to turn into me talking about anxiety. I think sometimes people with anxiety come across really aggressive, and it's not meant to be aggressive. It's just like where they're in their head, they feel like they have to get whatever out, and it comes across, they don't understand how they're coming across and how they sound. And if you know someone in your life with anxiety, you have to kind of like give a little like grace for that, because they're not meaning to. It's not intentional, and like you have to understand that like their brain just doesn't work the same. I also really like Hailey Bieber. Hailey Bieber is one I really like. She's gotten so much hate, you know, for being with Justin, and people like not thinking she's right for him, and Jelena, you know, all that stuff. And I think she handles it so incredibly well. And I really feel, I feel very akin to her, because when I got with my husband, a lot of people were very hard on me and gave me a hard time and didn't think I was the right person for them, and that I wasn't good enough for my husband. And, you know, for me, you know, there was this kind of air of like, well, why'd he pick you? And I'm like, I don't know why he picked me. We're just in love. And like, this is, you know, but it makes it hard when it's people around you that just have this view. And I think she handles that on such like a larger scale and has handled it so well, far better than I could ever. And so I really respect that. And especially she's like way younger than me, and she's beautiful, you know, I love her and what she's doing. And yeah, go Hailey Bieber. I like scary movies. I do not. I really don't like scary movies. Again, it goes back to having anxiety. I already vibrate up here. We don't need to give me something else to worry about. Like, I'm anxious. I turn on the news and I'm anxious. I don't need like a movie to get that adrenaline rush. I know some people like that and like vibe off that. That is not the vibe for me. I like thrillers that are interesting. I'm into that, but I don't like guts, gore. I'm also highly highly empathic, where like, no. Empathic, empathetic, I don't know. I'm an empath. So when I see something on screen that looks painful, I feel it. And this is why growing up, I love romance movies. Like, I was such a romantic, because for me, I literally, a piece of me felt that like romance and like that heart's tug and like, oh, like the butterflies. I literally got like, I don't know, like, what do you say, like when someone gets high, like a contact high or whatever? Like, I got like some of the feel goods. So for me to watch someone in pain or hurting, I feel it. Like, I really take it on. So much so that like sometimes when things are going on in real life, I have to pull back and like protect my emotions, because it's really hard. I will absorb all of that. I used to go on vacation. Oh girl, I'm a beach bunny for sure. I love the beach. So give me a nice like ocean with sand, and I want like to have my chair, and I would want to have like the people that come and wait on you and take your drink and everything, and like you can order tacos and ceviche and, you know, guacamole. That's my jam. That is my happy place. What's the worst movie that I've ever seen? Unfortunately, Wonder Woman 1984 comes to mind. It was terrible. And that was really, I was very sad to say that, because I love Gal Gadot, but it was not good. Sorry, Gal Gadot. I think you're amazing, but I just think the script was awful, how they shot it. I don't know who was doing the editing. It could have been a lot better. She's adorable. It sucked. It stunk. What is my pet peeve? Okay, so my pet peeve, I hate this. If people ever like, on the phone, calling, texting, what have you, I hate when someone says, what are you doing tomorrow? What are you doing Sunday? What are you doing right now? Those kind of questions. Because for me, and I know maybe this isn't their intention, but for me, when someone asks those sort of questions, they're trying to box you into saying that you have nothing going on, that you can go with them on what their journey is. Now, their journey could be something amazing, like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? I just got tickets to this band that you love. Do you want to go? It could also be like, what are you doing tomorrow? Help me move, you know, like, you know, it could be something that you're like, I don't really want to do that, you know, do this favor for me or whatever. Like, what are you doing tomorrow? What do you have going on? Because I want you to do X, Y, and Z. That's more of like a chore and a time suck to you. And then you don't, if you say, because habitually I think, as you mentioned, like, what do you, oh, nothing. Like, you probably do have stuff, but your inclination is to be like, nothing. And then you're on the hook. So I hate that. So I've actually gotten where now I'll just, when someone says like, what are you doing? What's going on? I'll say, well, why? What what's happening? Why? What's up? Because I don't want to be boxed in, because I don't want to have to. So that's like a pet peeve of mine. The other pet peeve is also, I'm a friend who gives like a lot of grace and a lot of latitude. I have like very low expectations of my friends. Like, I don't expect you, if you can't show up to something, not a big deal. I mean, don't leave me hanging by myself at a restaurant waiting for you, and then you call and say like, oh, you can't make it. Like that would be like, then I'd be a little upset, unless it was an emergency or something. You know, you got in a car wreck, something happened, you know, I get it. Then of course, my whole deal in life is like, I feel like there's so much in our life like that we can't control when it comes to like work, responsibilities, like family, like we can't control, like those relationships in our life are just there. We really don't have much say over them. But your friends, you do. And so for me, like my friends, if a friend is making me feel stressed out, like then I have to sit back and like really like think about that friendship. I don't like, and that's not to say like if a friend's going through something, obviously I'm gonna be there for my friend, but you know, friendships shouldn't be stressful. And like, I never have designs or think that like people should be doing XYZ for me or whatever. Like, I just don't, I don't, it's sometimes really hard for me because I walk around thinking that no one owes me anything. And just because that's my state of mind with friendships doesn't mean that other friends, like being a good friend to them is different. And so one of my things I'm really working on is to understand that just because my definition of how you're a good friend doesn't align with theirs, like just trying to understand what makes someone a good friend to other people and having grace for that, because you know, we all just need more grace. I'm a low maintenance friend. Like, we cannot talk forever. Like some of my really closest girlfriends that I consider, one of my friends, Krista, like I see her a few times a year at best. And most of our friendship is over sending memes back and forth to each other. And, you know, I don't think that she's any less of a friend because I can't, you know, we don't see each other. Like, we're not getting FaceTime. I don't think you have to have like, you can show up in other ways. My best friends in my life, maybe like we're not always talking. There's periods of our lives, other things are going on. And again, we're, you know, maybe just sending memes or seeing each other when we can. It doesn't have to be like a whole thing. I'm a very low pressure person. I'm rambling. Okay, do you prefer shopping at the mall or online? I feel like sometimes there's some things you need to try on, like if you're doing jean brands and things like that, but honestly, like online's so much easier because you get it sent to you. The problem I find sometimes with online is then like, there's yin and yang to both. Sometimes when you get sent something, then the idea of having to pack it up and take it back can kind of hinder you in returning it, and then you'll talk yourself into it because it's already in your home. But I also think in some ways it's better because when you're at the store, you can feel this pressure of like, it's right there, you have to get it. And then you're kind of, I don't know, do you really like it, or are you pressured into liking it? What do you miss the most about being younger? I don't really miss, I really don't miss anything about being younger. So I was talking to a friend of mine from college, and he was saying about how he missed the days of being in college and going out, and you'd walk in the bar and the bartender would know you and know your drink, and you knew everybody and you were the guy, and like having that kind of thing. And like for me, like I'm still kind of in that phase in my life. And so he was saying like lamenting about this. And for me, I feel like I'm still, obviously like I don't have children, and I don't go out nearly as much as I used to, but I think like if you want to create that, you can have that as an adult. If you pick like a local bar that you want to go when things are slow. Go like at, you know, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, whatever it is, like go when it's slow. Make friends with the bartender, tip really well, like tip exceedingly well, be very polite and kind, and get to know the bartender. And as you hang out there, you're gonna get to know the other regulars. Then like you're gonna create this. Like it doesn't happen overnight, but like you can end up creating that sort of, it's a sense of community that you're looking for. But again, it has to be cultivated. Just like in college, you didn't show up the first night knowing everyone. Like, you built that over 4 years or more if you were like me and had some victory laps. And I think that for me in my life and with my friends, you know, I'm not missing that because I created a community. Now, when I first graduated college, I went through a big depression because I didn't have friends, and it took me years. It literally took, it was 2014. I graduated school 2011. 2014 is when I really made friends. Like, it took me a long time. That were like my friends outside of like meeting them through like a relationship. Not to say those people that I met in the relationship weren't my friends, but like, you know, I had a couple friends here and there, but like to really find like my core clique, it takes a long time to build. Like, you just don't do it overnight. But it's putting that time in. And that's what's hard is when you're working, especially if you're married and you have little ones, I think that's incredibly hard because you have to be at home. You don't have the time to give to those friendships to build that. But at some point, if that is what you want, that's the way to do it. Go to a bar, go during off times, get to know the bartenders. Don't be creepy. If you're a guy and it's a girl, don't be creepy, you know, but like tip well, be friendly, be nice, talk to the other people that are around you at the bar, make friends, you know, like that's how you do it. I think, you know, if you're into music, go to shows that you like that kind of music, meet people that way. And, you know, local bands and stuff that are similar. Like, you know, obviously you're not gonna make friends maybe at a Rolling Stones show, but, you know, things like that. Go find those avenues and make those connections. But yeah, I think that's why, like, for me, like, I still feel like I'm in college. Like, I know I'm not. I feel like I didn't have like this connection to like the glory days of my 20s as much with my alopecia since I was in my 20s, right? Like, it's really started happening around the time I was 24. I started losing my hair, and 23, 24, kind of like in there, going through all that. So like, also like, I had a gap in my teeth during my 20s and my 30s. I got that fixed. A few years ago, I got veneers. So like, I feel like I've gotten cuter. Like, we fixed some of the problems that I was having with myself. And thanks to Botox, and, you know, I got my lips done because I wasn't very happy with my lips in my 20s, like things like that. So I'm physically probably happier with myself than I've ever been. Sure, there's some things that, like, you know, as a woman, we all have body things that we are like, okay, but like overall, I'm like, all right, I'm working on this. Like, sure, I want to lose like this final, like, you know, 5-10 pounds and be back to my modeling weight, but you know, I'm working on it. I know what I'm doing and not doing. So like, is it harder now? Sure, than it was when I was in my 20s, but I don't know. I think overall there's not much. I guess if anything, what do I miss? I guess like how fit I was when I was 25. I really got like on one at 25, and I got super, super lean and fit. But I mean, I was putting the work in, and I have not put that same level of work in I'm doing now. So I kind of feel like if I commit to it, I can get there. It's just, do I want to commit to doing that much, you know? I lived in the gym back then. Made me happy. I don't know. And I think too, like when I was like, I'm someone who kind of always knew who I was from a very young age. I just didn't find my people till later. And like, I kind of always was like, I was a weirdo who marched to the beat of my own drum. And like, now I found the other weirdos, and I don't know. I feel like life is just, I'm really happy with where things are at. Oh, which actor, actress is your least favorite? Okay, I'm gonna get hate for this, but Tom Hanks, I really don't like him. The only movie I like him in is That Thing You Do, and it's one of my favorite movies, and I think he plays that part great. I know he's a great actor. He just usually gets on my nerves, except in that movie, I like him. What is the best part about being 40? Honestly, I think like the fact you just, self-acceptance. Anything about yourself that you would like to change? Yeah, I definitely wish I didn't have anxiety. That was something I'm always working on that. I wish, I'm definitely trying, and that's something I'm trying to work on always. I wish sometimes like I wasn't so reactive. Like I'm someone who like kind of immediately will fire off, and like I want to be someone who steps back and maybe doesn't always have to have a response right away. What is your favorite board game? I hate board games. I hate games in general. I don't like them. I usually find I lose, maybe it's being ADD, but I lose interest with them very easily and I get bored. That's why they're board games. They're boring. Like them, no shade. Like what you like. They're just not for me. I'm also probably a frustrating person to play games like that because I just don't care that much. I'm not very competitive. So I'm like, whatever. So I'm not fun. Good one. What's the weirdest thing you've ever done to tell someone that you were crushing on them? So with my husband, it was like, I think our second date, I basically told him that I liked him and I, wanted to see where this would go. And if he wasn't feeling it, that was cool, no big deal. I knew what I wanted in my life and that I was living my life with intention. And I wasn't saying he had to be my boyfriend tomorrow or next week, but if we weren't going to date with the intention of getting to know each other to see if that's where we want this to go, then, and if he was just looking for a good time, that I wasn't interested. He told me that was very brave of me and that he respected that and that yes, he was interested in me and seeing where this could go and that he was only gonna see me. So yes, we became exclusive on our second date, which yeah, we knew. So that was really, really important to me. And I know it was kind of a crazy thing. And looking back, like I've asked him, like, what did you think of that? And he's like, well, I thought it was cool. And, yeah, it was a bit soon, but like we knew each other before. Like we'd been friends for a couple months. So it wasn't like but I knew what I wanted and I'm not afraid to go for it. Because the worst that could happen, it doesn't get easier to have those conversations. Like if you wait till you're more and more involved with a guy, then like you have more at stake. So you're more scared to like ask that hard question because what if it's not the answer you want, right? Like I think you're more willing to sell yourself short the further you go. On a second date, I'm not that invested. Like if he was like, oh, I'm just looking for a good time, I'm not like that, then I could have been like, okay. Like I would not, like I would have been slightly bummed, but like it wouldn't be like soul crushing. If I waited a month, 2-3 months in and then did that, then I'm like, oh, I wasted all this time and I really like you and now I'm all attached. And my best advice to you out there, if any of you are watching this are single, if you meet someone, like make your intentions known very early on. And if they are so turned off by it or think you're crazy, well, that's probably because they had bad intentions, in my opinion. Do you believe in love at first sight? I believe in lust at first sight. I think you can see someone and be like, whoa. My husband had a crush on me for years from afar. Like he had a thing for me and we met several times before it like clicked with me. But yeah, I don't think that love is something that comes later. Like you have to know each other to be in love with someone, but I think you can definitely like have a connection. That's not to say too, though, I do believe in like soulmates and past lives and stuff. So maybe you recognize their soul immediately. Maybe some people have the capability to do that. I know this is like crazy, but I fully believe that I am a reincarnation of my great-grandmother, and I think my husband is a reincarnation of my great-grandfather. And there's so much stuff within my family history that point to this. There's stuff I know this sounds nuts, but like I am slightly psychic and I've had like visions, and there's stuff like I've talked to my mom and my grandma about that like there's no way I would have known this. Like there's no way. It's not like I overheard something and I've told them and they're like, whoa. And there's things I did as a kid, there's stories and like me speaking, like using words that I would have never known, or turn of phrases that I would have had no way of knowing that were things my great-grandmother said. And and there's just stuff within me and Sam's relationship that when we got together, it was just like, whoa, like I knew from the first kiss that he was my person, and that was it. I was like, whoa. So, and just like having that strong of a connection to each other that blows anything out of the water, it's kind of, it's super rare. So I do think that we are past life soulmates. If you don't believe in that, that's okay, but I do. That's it for this. Gosh, it's 41 minutes, so I'll edit this down. hopefully it'll be interesting for you guys. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you tomorrow.